Well, no other way to say it, Frank. That's just an awful shot.
Bad.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time. So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait. And at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
In the green side bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem. Into the tall cabbage, that ball is swallowed up. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another. Rich, after you've already made one mistake in the rough, there's a chance he's going to make another.
Just trying to get it back out into the fairway and not make a big number. And into the thicker stuff.
Let's see if he can bludgeon this one out.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Didn't go your way. It happens in golf, so just pick up and move on. Third hole's a par 4. Again, it's 428 yards, but Frank, we look out to the left and we can see there's nothing quite like the third at Oakmont.
Well, the church pews certainly might look beautiful from our point of view, but they really shrink the hole down, or the landing area, because not only the pews on the left side, but a bunch of bunkers on the right. You see the tee shot plays a little downhill, but it funnels in so closely together that more often than not we'll see players hit long irons off the tee here.
Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster. Instead, actually a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par. That's as bad a shot as I've seen for a long while.
What in the world happened there, Frank?
Let's see where this one finishes.
Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Fourth hole now. Long par 5 at 609 yards.
Whoops, Rich, this is way offline.
Oh, yeah. Get down. Just need to settle down, relax on this next shot after going out of bounds.
The amount of times somebody splits the fairway after hitting one out of bounds is astronomical.
This will be the third shot after being penalized for going out of bounds. Frank, here we go again. Another shot from the rough.
Yeah, let's see if he learned his lesson.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
This requires a lot of speed through the ball. Frank, how did he do there?
Well, he's inside 30 feet, but 27 feet, it's not exactly what you'd call close.
Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on. We're at the 5th hole now. Short hole, but Frank, pretty challenging even at 382 yards.
Yeah, you've got the bunkers are staggered. The first 3 come in down the left side, and then they start to link up with the ones on the right side that just sort of narrow this fairway up. It just sort of changes the strategy. But if you can just sort of thread an iron up there, that's the main thing. Because this green is going to be very narrow in the front and then slope away to the player's left. Are you for real? It was terrible. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing. Rich, I think he's going for a different green. Are we on the wrong hole?
That's not a green in regulation. That's a green in miscalculation. Frank, at a 72-hole stroke play event, do you like birdie fests where, say, 28, 30 under par might win it, or do you like a good old-fashioned grind them out where you might be able to win the championship at, say, 7, 8 under par?
Yeah, I like the latter, really, because I think it tests the mental fortitude. Normally, if people are, in the mid-20s under, the golf course is a little easier. It's a little more forgiving. Greens are flatter and all that. And therefore, I'm not saying it's one-dimensional, but it's closer to that. When you have a good old barn brawn out there with the rough thick and bunkers are difficult and greens are fast and undulating, every part of your game is stressed to the limit. And, you know, sort of 10 under, I always think, is like a really good litmus test for a great tournament.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, this is where the mental game really comes into play. You've hit a second consecutive shot into the rough.
This could compound very, very quickly. So now's the chance to just take a little breath, take a breather, and try to make sure this shot certainly gets out.
Slight miss, and he'll have to deal with some of the heavy grass. Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. It happens. You have a tough hole. Time to pick up and move on after the triple bogey. All right, Frank, take us down onto the 7th hole, par 4 at 434 yards.
Another one that's just another great driving hole. Bunkers on both sides of the fairway, so you can't really bail out either way. Used to be some trees in that down the right side. They've been removed, replaced now by fescue. So if you do miss those bunkers right or left, it's not exactly one of the easiest chip out to the fairway. Another one that's a must-hit fairway. Reason why? It's a long par 4, and it's the only way you're going to hit this par 4 and 2.
See if our featured golfer can get a little something positive going here, Frank. It has been a miserable day.
Yeah, things have just appeared too tough. So really just somehow just eradicate everything you've been thinking right now. Realize this green's big enough. Just get something on the green. Opportunity maybe for a birdie. Oh, this is way offline.
He knew it right from the start. But this is a humbling game, isn't it, Frank? Frank, this is where a round can get away. You've just knocked it OB.
Yeah, that shot's never going to come back now. So he doesn't want to compile the error.
Getting set now for his 4th shot. Took the penalty after hitting it out of bounds.
Yeah, this can get away from him here. Off the flight path again. Rich, do you think we should tell him this fairway out there?
Yeah, he's been in the rough all day long. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, it just seemed to baby it.
All right, now another shot from the rough.
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw. Always tough to get a decent flight out of the rough. And you could see that ball was never soaring out of that light.
Hate to say it, but that is a quadruple bogey, double the par, and time to pick up and move on. The par 3 8th. This is where Angel Cabrera, Sunday at the U.S. Open in 2007, made a deuce, and it was set up to play at 300 yards on that final day. This is all you want, Frank, in a par 3.
Yeah, it was the first 300-yard par 3 ever in a U.S. Open.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. just a little offline, so now, Frank, he's going to have to deal with a rough.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how strong he is.
He'll need to be strong with this. Once you hit double par, it is time to just pick up and move on. Count that as a triple bogey. Ouch. Rounding out the front nine here at Oakmont, Frank, it looks to be straight away, uphill. Anything to be cautious about on this tee shot?
Well, there certainly is. Years gone by, this was a par 5 for the US Opens of yesteryear. Par 5 still for the members. And the reason why is it's a little bit uphill, semi-blind tee shot, bunkers left and right, and of course rough if you miss those. This is one of those holes, even though it's a par 4 now, you miss the fairway here, you are not reaching this green in 2.
Now playing the second here at the par 4. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Down, little Sheba, down!
Well, just a little too much, Rich.
I don't know if it was wind at his back, he didn't calculate it, but he's going to be left with a difficult chip shot here. What was he thinking there?
I have no earthly idea. It's tough to take an extra club out of that lie, Rich, because it's always in the back of your mind. If you hit it properly, it's going to ML the green.
Gave that one everything he had. I mean, really gouged it, and still, it was short. That is not going in the right direction. That will be 4 over par on the scorecard for this hole. Time to pick up and move on. That's out of bounds, and it'll cost him a shot. Frank, where are we after the shot out of bounds?
This is his 9th. This is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in.
Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. And it is not looking like a good lie. Frank, out of the rough, best to swing a little bit easier or get after it with all you have?
Well, a little bit in between. Obviously, it's going to require a little bit of strength to make sure that club keeps going through. But it's still the planning of the shot. Once again, check short. Is there anything I have to carry? And even remember, there's always the option of just simply pitching the ball down the fairway and taking your medicine.
Frank, this one is veering far to the left. Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again.
Needs a GPS to find this one.
Yeah, see that thing down there waving the flag? This is nowhere near that.
Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Well, you don't want to compound the error. Out of bounds and now back on the tee with a provisional. This one has to be in play. 9-ball works in pool, not in golf, Frank. This the 9th shot.
Yes, it'd be a miracle to avoid double figures. That's as bad a shot as I've seen for a long while.
Frank, this one's headed way right.
And rough trees, all sorts of problems on that right side. Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one. The lie pretty much dictated the result. Thick rough, tough to get that all the way to the green.
Trying to muscle it out of there, but you had to be Schwarzenegger to get that one done. Frank, this one needs to sit down.
Oh, it's got no chance, Rich. This is still going up.
Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on. Well, the par 5 12th here at Oakmont is no cupcake. It measures in at 667 yards.
was a little over-ambitious.
Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be dallied with. You've got to hit it powerfully, and you really have to focus on that club getting through the grass, past the ball, and out the other side.
Look out, that one's headed for trouble. Frank, you're in the business of analyzing golf shot. Frank, this is always such a difficult spot for a golfer. You just hit one out of bounds, you're trying to regroup.
He's going to need to more than regroup now.
Not done yet. This is his 7th shot.
7?
7. Frank, this is where the mental game really comes into play. You've hit a 2nd consecutive shot into the rough.
This could compound very, very quickly, so now's the chance to just take a little breath, take a breather, and try to make sure this shot certainly gets out.
Time to just pick up and move on to the next hole. Pushing our way into this back 9, we arrive at the par 3 13th. It's 183 yards. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, he'll have to get up and down from the bunker to save his par. And yet again, he has hit it off the tee and into the bunker. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Putting all of his talents on display here from the rough, and he knocks it really close. Beautiful shot.